Let's start. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Sunday evening talks, whereby we talk about everything from investing to real estate and the likes thereof. If this is your first time with us or hearing us on YouTube or whatever medium that you're coming from, please hit that subscribe button and send us a like if the content here is giving you an added benefit to yourself. All right, I'll share my screen here. Tonight, our topic is going to be what is your 36-month plan for retiring wealthy? And normally, you have a longer term view of what retirement is. Most people have a view of 20-year view, 10-year view, depending on your age and your work experience and everything else like that. But tonight I wanted to challenge our group tonight to see exactly if you had 36 months, and I'll give you my plan for exiting out in 36 months. And then what I'll do afterwards is open it up to the group to see what everybody else 36-month plan is of how they're going to get to retirement and what that looks like. Well, my 36-month plan is real simple. To create a portfolio that would give me positive cash flows that I can do the things that I want to do. Most of us working a 9 to 5, we don't really understand how to get out of that 9 to 5 category. And in order to do that, you're going to need some cash coming in, whether you work for it, whether it's coming in through retirement, whether it's coming in through Social Security, whether it's coming in from your 401k, whether it's coming in from your investments, whether it's coming in from your stock dividends. You're going to need some money coming in. And you might be surprised that it doesn't take that much money to retire. Now, I know, yes, John, who's with us tonight, he is in retirement and he's doing well in that space. And some of us have already achieved that milestone. And I am so proud of him for getting there, because most people don't get there. And I'm not going to divulge his age, but he's a young man, right? So he has plenty time left in order to do a lot of the stuff that he wants to do. But there again, including myself, for those of us who aren't there yet, what does that retirement looks like? For me, in 36 months, what that look like means that I should have a portfolio generating $1 million a year without me working for it. That's what it means. Now, let's break that down into what that sounds like. That means on a 5-day rolling basis, I need to make $3,333 per day. That's what I need to make. Now, how does one get there, right? What I'm seeing now in my portfolio is something that's really clear. Yes, we are involved. And let me describe the portfolio again for those of you who are hearing it for the first time. My portfolio mix is 50% real estate divided into single family, multifamily, commercial, living assisted facilities, and hotel developments. Okay, that's the real estate component of my portfolio. I have a 30% portfolio, which is really specific to buying other companies. And then I have a 20% portfolio, which is the portfolio in the passive space. So this includes stocks, bonds, dividends, ETFs investing, crypto investing, and the likes thereof, right? And what I'm finding out, these three sectors, they balance out one another well, right? In that, as long as I manage the positive cash flow out of the three units, this should extract the revenue that I need. But the question is, sometimes this is complex. Where do you start? Well, you start with understanding your access to capital, number one. And, we normally say reduce debt, correct? But there's a balancing act between building that portfolio and balancing debt. If you're waiting to be debt-free in order to start investing, some of these assets take 30 and 40 years in order for you to draw down. on the debt structure that you have. So you're going to have to find some cash infusion in order to compensate. So when I say this portfolio should be bringing in $3,000 per day back to me, that's net of any other monies going towards the debt services within that portfolio together. And what I'm finding out these days is that I'm getting a lot more aggressive in my passive investments, primarily because at this particular juncture, I see more revenues coming out of that space versus any other spaces that I have. And I'll share with you what I found this week that was surprising. But going back to the question, what is your 36-month plan? My 36-month plan is really to understand exactly what it means in order to get ahead, to take my portfolio to the next level. Yes, we do have real estate that have to be developed. Yes, I am in an acquisition of a $5 to $6 million radiology business in New York, which has the capabilities of scaling. So that's extremely promising. But that business is labor intensive and cash intensive. Where I'm seeing the best bang for my buck, even the real estate portfolio is a little intensive. The real estate portfolio is capital intensive. So on one hand, my real estate is capital intensive. The business side of things, the 30%, that's labor intensive. And I'm finding out that I'm enjoying the passive space a lot more. And the reason why I'm enjoying the passive space a lot more is because I've started to add some more components to it. And as I add components to it, I'm seeing different results at every time. As most of you are aware, I am trading Forex. And I finally tweaked my strategies to whereby I am now able to level up on lot sizes and taking larger risk without having the drawdowns in the account that kept me stuck for about a couple of weeks. So now it's really getting to a level of consistency. So just on the Forex alone, I'm finding out that I have the capabilities to do anywhere from 5 to 10% a week on my own. And that's just minimum. On average, I'll let you know how that worked out in the next couple of months. But on average, I believe that I can do 30% a week in the Forex space with my strategies being consistently, how should I put it, developed. Now, the strategy that I have took a long time in order to get. It didn't come overnight. So my strategies on buying and selling, how long to sell, how long to hold, all of those things played a part, understanding what part of the tape to be in, but more importantly, understanding what happens when you're wrong. So there again, now that we've answered all of those questions for ourselves, we see nothing but upside on the Forex side for us. So in our passive space, that's going to be the predominant, how should I put it, revenue driver as far as the passive income is concerned. And what I like about that Forex space is that I have total control within my capabilities. The money isn't out with anybody else, it's directly with me. So I control the input and the output, and I like controlling my future in that way. And I'm getting more immersed in the Forex culture with other traders who are very passionate about trading. And this week, what I've discovered, and I'm testing something else out. I bought a bot for the first time. I don't know how many of you are aware that there are bots that can trade for you. And I bought one, and let me show it. That's why I wanted to share my screen tonight. Now I had to get a VPS system in order to do it, right? So this is a bot, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just highlight it. Let me move your screen lower. I bought a bot called Forex Fury, and I got it underneath volume 4. I'm testing this one out, right? And this one is trading the British pound versus the US dollar. And I have a few of my risk management set over here. But what I wanted to get to is this account started at $2,000. And just on Friday alone, it did, let me see if I could bring up the history. Just on Friday alone, it did $139.38. So I'm dying to see what this is going to do with a longer term window, right? So this is approximately 5, 6, 7 percentage points of the 2,000, right? So imagine that, and that was just one day. So I can't wait to see what this bot can do. Now, I have maybe 5 or 6 accounts just like this one on a test with Forex Fury. So if I can extract there again, just from these bots alone, anywhere from 10 to 20% per week, that's huge, right? And all of it is in the passive space. But there again, these ideas are going towards what it would take in order for me to retire. The goal there again, for me, in terms of a mindset, is I see myself on a Privilege 580, which is a catamaran, purchasing one of those in the year 2025. Yes, it's a $3 million boat. Do I have 3 million? Oh, hell no, not at the moment. But I do think within understanding compounding in this space will accelerate that curve for me. Yes, we are invested in cryptos and the likes thereof in other platforms, and those other platforms are having some issues. But at the end of the day, we see this as our primary functionary to earning that $3,000 per day. Outside of that, the goal is simply to grow and bank and stack within this space to the tune of, right now, the account is sitting with 3,000 equity, the live account that is, and $7,000 ending balance. So when we started that account, it only had about $500 to $1,000 in it. So we're constantly growing that in the space. And we think that that's going to be the primary account that does exceptionally well for us. Yes, we're going to continue in the buying of businesses and scaling in that other thing. Yes, we're going to continue on the real estate side, but there again, we want to, our primary focus from here on out would be in the space of trading our passive accounts in order to redistribute the monies into the other 2 areas. And as such, that's our plan over the next 36 months. Within the next 24 months, just based on this alone, just on the Forex account alone, we should be debt free within 24 months. Based on that alone, after the debt free component, and not debt free from assets from the real estate side, debt free from as far as the personal consumption side is concerned. That means credit cards and the whole 9 yards. The only debt that we should carry at that particular point is debt that's holding in either the real estate or the SBA holdings. So the SBA holdings plays a part for us, as well as different partnerships that we have in place to constantly accumulate other business quickly. But there again, that 36-month plan means that after 36 months, I want to be traveling the globe on a yacht with my family in different countries. So what am I doing in addition to not only earning the money, but making sure that there's an organization that's handling all of the mail and the billing and everything else like that? Well, as most of you are aware, I do have an accounting firm. So there again, that accounting firm now will be converted into a family office management service, which means that for individuals like myself, you'll offer the services worldwide. But at the end of the day, we'll be able to leave without having too much issues on having a placement to come back to. So yes, we want to invest in certain places to whereby the boat can go to those destinations. And like everything else, that's the dream. But there's a solid plan behind achieving that dream. And a lot of it is financing. That boat that I talk about, yeah, that's part of the business. That's not Devaughn going to get a personal loan to go get that boat. We're going to incorporate that into the long-term plan of the portfolio, which then means that most or all of our expenses as we go on these expeditions and these investments should be considered a business expense. So I'm going to stop right there and open up the window to hear everybody else's 36-month plan, if they have one, to retirement. John, you don't count. But
no problem.
I'll start with you anyhow, though, right? Because I'll pick on you a little bit because you are in retirement.
Right.
Number one, how did you get to retirement? Number one, and how long did it take you?
So I'm kind of an unorthodox way about everything that I do, but you know, I often tell people there's trade-offs in life, and man, did you open up a can of worms bringing me up first? You know, it's not for everybody else. But you know, I really believe in the power of focus, but I also believe in the power of trade-offs. And I talk about this with other people. There's no such thing as debt is bad, paying off debt is good or bad. Everything is a bargain. Everything is a deal you make with yourself. The question is, are the decisions you're making good for you? So for example, when I was younger, I was in law enforcement, and it was an invasive job where I literally would work 6 or 7 days a week. And there were weeks I worked 115 hours a week. And my mom used to tell me my eyes were black and blue all the time for overtime. And I loved it. So if you do what you love, it's not like work, right? Mm-hmm. But my 20s and 30s went by like that, okay? And I started, you know, at 16 as a student trooper, volunteering the evidence room at 17. In my early 20s, I was on the job, and I got injured in the line of duty, but I had almost 21 years of total time, part and full-time working. So I was eligible for a pension anyway. Now, on the downside of that, I won't get Social Security because you lose it, you're taken out of the system. They never matched any 401k, 457k. And the pension actually goes down over time. So 10 years later, I'm getting the same or less as I made 10 years ago. But because I knew this 10 years ago, a light bulb went off and it said, okay, you're injured, you know, line of duty injury, you retired young, but you can't just sit at home and do nothing, right? And that's not my personality anyway. And that's why I decided to get into real estate. So I've been a part of 6 or 7 total flips, buy and holds, 4 personally, 100% myself, 2 houses, 2 condos locally. And I've retained the house I live in, and I've retained 1 rental, and I just recently sold another rental. So here's my goal, and then I'll give a little spiel, but my 3-year goal, as you mentioned, I decided, and I don't want people to misunderstand what I say about debt. This is what's right for me right now, because I will talk about debt if anybody wants to discuss it, because I have taken on debt in order to invest, okay? But my first year is to eliminate all debt. And the only debt I have left is about 30 grand on my house. So I was paying 2, 3, 4 times my monthly payment, but because I had a renter who was renting for 5 years, he recently moved out. There's a lot of work to turn it around to re-rent the unit. After 5 years, you know, ceiling fans replaced, painting, some new flooring, things like that. So I've slowed down in order to take that on. But my goal is within the next year or less, I'm going to eliminate the last 30 grand on my mortgage, okay, at my house. So year 2 and 3. And by the way, when you retire, you always have new goals of like, you know, what you want to do next. It's never like you just flip a switch and it's over. It's very rare. But my goal is to build wealth over the next 3 years because my girlfriend wants to retire, okay, and stop working. So what we've decided to do is, number one, maintain my home debt-free. Number two, maintain my rental debt-free. Number three, bring my personal savings goal up to double what it is now. That's your emergency fund savings for emergency. Bring my bond funds up, bring my cash up, bring my digital currency up, and bring my physical precious metals up. And once I achieve those personal goals, I am going to start, probably that would be in about another 6 months. I'm going to start investing 50%, yes, 50% of my net income into a diversified portfolio.
Beautiful.
And that's going to be just hammering as much as I can, especially because we're on the downside of a market. So I'm hoping once I do that after 3 years, I will also be able to save enough money that we can potentially move to Asia, pay cash for a house and a car, a truck and a house. And then I would maintain my current properties as rentals, and that would replace the income we're losing from my girlfriend retiring.
That's a beautiful plan, Joe.
So, you know, that's basically, you know, a tentative plan for what we're doing. Can I say one thing about debt? Because I'm older and I used debt for investments. And if today I came across a deal and I wanted to do another property, I would go take debt and do that property. But I believe debt needs to be planned and used in a good way. So I wouldn't just borrow money for the sake of borrowing money. I don't have any credit cards. I mean, I have them, but I pay them off every month or I don't use them. I don't, you know, I drive a 13, 14-year-old truck with 287,000 miles on it. You know what I mean? But, you know, when I needed flooring this week and I needed 40 boxes of flooring, that truck came in handy. But here's what I'll say. Everything's kind of a plan. Since I know in 3 years we're moving to Asia, probably going to buy a brand new truck, and I'll just live with my truck for 3 more years. There's no reason to take on debt for something if it can get by for 3 years, if there's a bigger picture. The other thing is we really want to travel in our retirement, and anyone who's younger, listen to Devaughn and listen to myself. We're talking about boats, planes, travel, seeing things, enjoying other places, because we know no matter how much you build wealth, the goal is, I think Mark Twain said it, you're going to regret people that you didn't have the company of, or places you couldn't travel and see. And we want to travel all over Europe and Asia, which is a personal goal. But going back to what I said, if I wanted to build or do another house, do another flip, I would take debt to do it, either refinance my home or take a mortgage into the next. So debt can be good. Would I go buy a new truck just for the sake of buying a new truck? Not unless I was financially comfortable and it was something I wanted to do. But would I borrow money towards an investment? Yes, I would. So I just wanted to clarify that, because, you know, I know a lot of people get tied up with good debt, bad debt. Should you borrow? Should you pay off? I'm going to be 50 soon. So, you know, to reveal my age, but I want to be debt free. My girlfriend's debt free. I'm almost debt free. And I also look at, my girlfriend wants to retire at age 50, getting rental income from 2 properties, even paying a management person, a lawyer I know locally. We're going to be able to replace her net income with her retiring early. There are going to be some snags, you know, there's going to be, like right now, I have to pay somebody to do what I'm doing. So there's going to be some gains and losses. But if you understand that, as Devaughn said, you need to bring in an income to support yourself. Social Security is probably not going to be enough for most people. I'm not going to inherit any money because my parents are using what they have left in their house to support themselves late in life. So you have to understand that you need to bring in money, and that needs to be in a market not only with principal but interest, because it has to grow as time goes by because of inflation. But to end what I'm going to say, I'm about to start dumping 50% in the market, and I'm going to invest heavily, because right now I hold real estate as the bulk of my portfolio, and I want to diversify that out and have more, you know, passive investments in stocks, diversified between, I'll probably do things like Berkshire B and partner stocks, maybe a couple of mutual funds, maybe some, you know, growth and income funds, things like that, and probably do about 20% of it in individual stocks just to play around. So if I didn't ramble too much, there's where I'm at. You can ask me questions if you didn't understand it.
That was cool. No. That's what the whole group thing here is for, because everyone is going to have a different plan. And, and what our goal here is to extract the best from everybody and see how that plays into everything else. Now, what I've gotten from John, which is very similar to mine, is that we all have a cachet or access to capital that needs to go somewhere in order for us to have a return on that. That's extremely important to hear, because there again, I'm finding that type of capital between the community credit unions and having equity inside my home as a HELOC. So now with those two components now, it's making the investment place now a lot easier for me to contemplate these pools to whereby I need to accelerate cash quickly without being on a 9-to-5. So that's the sentiment. And you'd find that sentiment rings true to everyone who has a 36-month plan. Yes, you can have the emergency fund. Yes, you can create a diversified portfolio. But there again, once you're out of the 9-to-5 game, what type of money do you need in order to live on? Quite frankly, if all the bills are paid, to give you what that number is, $10,000 a month with all your bills being paid looks really, really well. And individuals are living off of $10,000 a month all over the globe, and they're doing exceptionally well. I see them in Peru, I see them in Japan, I see them in Europe, I see them in Spain, France, Cyprus, all over the place. And there's this movement going on into America right now, especially the groups out of Silicon Valley. Their 36-month plan is real simple. Make $1 million, convert that $1 million into earning anywhere from 10 to 15% per year, and they live off of 4% off the million, and everything else goes to principal. Right? So especially those ones in Seattle that I'm more familiar with, they're going after these high-paying jobs, 300, 400 a year. After they save $1 million, they out, right? And all they do is curtail what they're doing and make sure their expenses fit into a box, and the rest of the money constantly goes into investing. So they live off so much. And there again, everybody has a different plan, right? So Orlando, what's your 36-month plan?
Well, my 36-month plan, I was thinking I might need one more year, but the whole, I would think the first thing, 50% of it would be to definitely grow my business with my agency that I have, and to get bought out by a company called Integrity. We had a couple of agents this year that got bought out by them, and a couple of them had received a couple $1 million. And also have my book of business, so my personal book of business that I can live off of, which is residual income, that I'm actually receiving some of it right now, to grow that as well, which I would think altogether would be probably like 50% of wealth. I would say the other 20 to 30%, I would definitely want it to be real estate, and I'm still new at this. So I'm kind of, soaking everything all in and just listening to all you guys talk. And I'm like, man, that's awesome. But I would definitely want to, hit the real estate, and, the rest would be in just portfolios and tradings and, things of that nature. So,
yeah. Well, that's the whole idea. So the thing is, I'm archiving this so that in a year or two from now, when you hear your own words coming back and your picture looks a little different, the question then will be, what would you tell your younger self, right? And for us, we want everybody to grow in this space, right? So whether it's personal development, whether it's financial education, whatever it is, take whatever you get out of this, out of everybody here, because in life, everybody has something to add to your equity.
Right.
You just need to find out what that is.
What it is.
Right. But kudos to you, man. And for those of you who are unaware, Orlando is one of the star agents in the Brevard County. And he's special. Orlando, share a little about yourself. What do you do, and what your
Sure,
specialty is?
So I'm an insurance broker for the state of Florida. I'm contracted right now. We're currently over, I want to say 15 to 20 different states in the United States. But I sell life insurance and mortgage protections. I also do annuities as well. I've been doing this now for roughly 2.5, 3 years. Personal production has been a little bit over 100, close to 300,000 my first year. My second year as a whole, as my agency, was a little bit over 400 to 50,000. What we call is, the company that I represent is called Family First Life. So, we have agents that are Hall of Famers, and then agents that, kind of produce 5 to 10K a month. I average roughly, I would say, issue paid 30 to 40,000 a month. My agency as a whole does, I would say, 100,000 a week in issue paid numbers. I roughly have, I would say, anywhere from 80 to 90 agents now all across the United States. But out of those 90, it sounds like a lot. Out of those 90, maybe 25, 30 currently do write policies. 15 maybe write consistent. I currently have two people that work for me. I have a recruiter, and I also have an admin who kind of helps me with my, with the paperwork, some of the amendments that need to be, submitted, and also Facebook and IG. We try to network ourselves out there, as well as trying to hire other people that don't really know about the business, and also agents that do, because we start pretty much all our agents off at a really, really high commission rate. And, that was one of the things that I really liked, about the business. But this has changed my life, financially, for the rest of my life, I would say. I love what I do. It is not easy. I do work a lot of hours, but it doesn't feel like work, and I always say that it really doesn't feel like work. I do have a degree in computer science, and I did that for 14, 15 years, which I realized how much I hated it because I was sitting behind a cubicle. And, I did that for, again, 15, 16 years. And to me, hey is a strong word, but I did not like it, at all. And, I spent a lot of money to get that degree. But, I'm in a field now that I love. And, I can see myself doing this for the rest of my life. Hopefully that's not the case. I'm able to retire because I don't want to sell insurance for the rest of my life. I want to be able to help other people, other agents, get to where I'm at, and hopefully even further down the road. But I definitely want to sell my agency and be able to help other agents in the long run.
So
and
you guys are constantly hiring right now, right, Orlando?
Constantly, absolutely.
How would people get in touch with you about that hiring process? And I think you guys train your agents too, right?
Yes, we do. I personally have a Zoom meeting every Sunday right after this call. Actually, it's not every Sunday, it's bi-weekly. So we try to do it twice a week with newer agents that are coming on board. And we pay for the class. So each state is a little bit different. I know in the state of Florida, to pay for the class to get your license, you have to pay $300. Once you take the class and pass the test, now you can take the test as many times as you want. Once you do pass the test, we have a program that helps you do the onboarding. We have a girl by the name of Lydia that helps you out with that. That takes about another 2 weeks because the carriers now have to do a background on you. Once the background comes back per each carrier, they give you a writing ID number. Once you get your writing ID number, you're ready to write, insurance. You can write policies for yourself, your family members, friends. Now you don't have to, back in the day, I used to have this thing about insurance agents where you had to recruit your family members, your friends, and I didn't want to do that initially. But once I did my own investigating with the company that I'm with, you don't have to do that. You can just make a lot of money and just be happy with that. Or if you want to bring in people and have your own team, you can as well. That's the good thing about
Orlando, this sounds like a great side hustle too for individuals who want to earn that extra income too.
Oh, it is 1,000, because you can do this part-time. You know, you can do this part-time, start off, you know, or just on the weekends, booking your own appointments. And with the commission, we start everybody off at a really, really high commission rate. It's over 100%. So if you sold one policy for $100, you're making anywhere from $1,100 to $1,200. The carriers that we're contracted with give you 9 months up front or 6 months up front. Some of them pay you within 24 hours. Some of them pay you within, you know, once the money is received from the client. So, you know, it's life-changing money, you know, for the most of us. It definitely is. You know, I know it was for me. So
Yeah, now, hint, hint, for those of us who don't have a job in the group, maybe that's a good plan for you. Orlando,
Absolutely.
how do they get in touch with you?
You can contact me at 978-332-6572. My Facebook, my email address, orlandopayne@hotmail.com or orlandopayne2121@gmail.com. And my picture comes up. The company, again, is called Family First Life. And again, you know, I always want to emphasize, this is not easy. You know, you hear about the money, and you know, it is vast, and you do make a lot of it. You definitely will, but you do have to work. Again, you know, this is going to be your own business. You do have to invest money back into your business, but you will make a lot of it as long as you're doing the right thing, and you're working the leads, you're buying the leads, and, you know, doing what you need to do. So
Yeah, and this was not a paid endorsement.
Thanks, bud. I appreciate it.
I was glad that you were able to share that story, because at the end of the day, for those of you who are listening for the first time, you know, this might be a vehicle to help you get to where you want to go. There's no straight road to Rome, right? There are multiple pathways.
Right.
You decide. And if you see that there's a benefit in selling insurances, well, give Orlando a call. He's part of your group.
I would say, if there was one thing that a place where you wanted to make a lot of money on your own time and on your own dime, you can create your own schedules. You can do it in the afternoon, you can do it in the morning, you can do it on the weekends. This is the place to do it, because again, it is life-changing money. And it's pretty much on your own time and your own dime. So, you know, you can't beat it.
That's a beautiful thing. All right, we have time for one more. I'm going to pick on Tori. How you doing tonight, Tori? What's your 36-month plan, Tori?
Okay, so my 36-month plan. So I want to move to St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. I want to purchase a building and make it eligible for Section 8 housing, like an apartment complex. Then I want to invest in already existing bed and breakfasts and help them scale to the next level. And then I want to open up my own mini boutique hotel in St. Thomas. And then after that, I want to invest in real estate in Mexico and Ghana. So that's my 36-month plan.
And that's a beautiful plan as it is. Individuals who are looking offshore these days for a different experience. You know, and there again, that's a road, that's a space that I too myself will play in at some point in time, right? Because wherever the boat goes, that's where we're investing. So if I dock in Mexico, I wanted to be at a bed and breakfast that I own. And there again, if Tori is already in the bed and breakfast space, that makes it a very unique partnership now, that as she go on her journey, I know my 36 months includes just getting the boat at 36 months, right? But as John had mentioned, what are your plans in the aftermath? Just getting to retirement isn't enough. So you got to constantly play in a space even after retirement. And I love what you said, Tori, that you plan to be in the Virgin Islands. You
Yeah.
plan to be in Mexico. You plan to be in Ghana. I mean, there's a lot of movement on the quality of life. And there again, I take it your investment will be paying you in order to stay in these regions in order to do those developments.
Correct.
So that's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. Oh, I love it.
Thanks.
I can't wait to see what you become over the next 36 months. And I believe you have full potential in everything that you're going to do. And there again, I know your world is going to take you down a pathway of different partnerships, different headaches and different pains. But at the end of the day, I think what you want to accomplish is extremely doable. And seeing that it's your vision, I think you're going to get there in a superb time. And there again, leverage everybody. To give you an idea, just in terms of connecting the dots, and you're thinking about overseas, John had mentioned earlier that he planned to travel to Asia and all those other places, right? As he gets to that destination, as you put your investment pool together, there's nothing saying that you can't own a bed and breakfast in Thailand where he is. So just stay connected to him. You know what I mean? Because I know he's looking for investments as well too in that specific region. So there again, you know what I mean? In terms of mashing the idea of especially investment overseas. So hint, hint, stay connected to John as close as you can.
I'm actually scouting something right now in that area, but my girlfriend thinks I'm crazy, but I'll share it with you a little later when I have more information on it. But there was somebody who, an expatriate from England who moved there, but unfortunately he didn't have a retirement to survive off of. And he built a resort, a small resort, like a 10-room resort, but he left to go back to England and it's dormant right now. And it would be one heck of a steal. And it's literally within 40 minutes where we wanted to go.
See what I mean? That's a no-brainer. Well, I think everyone have some wonderful plans for their next 36 months. And there again, if you're not thinking of how to get off the 9 to 5, it's a hustle to stay in the 9 to 5 category, whatever that means, whether it's 9 to 5, 9 to 9, some W-2 paying you an income. The goal that we wanted to explore tonight was simply to have a dream and start thinking about different and alternative ways that you can start to earn extra income, right? Earn extra money. And I was glad that Orlando mentioned that he's in the insurance place, right? So that may be an alternative revenue source for you. I shared my story earlier that this week I bought a bot, and that bot over a one-day trading period already did 10%. Now I'm going to watch that bot over the next 3 months. But I know our primary source of income to take us out, it be predominantly through the Forex market trading gold. And that's one of the primary ways that will fund the rest of the portfolio for us. You have to decide what that primary method is for you and stick to it so that you can get to the level of capital that you want to earn. All these things are not easy by no chance of the imagination. Everything that you're going to do in your portfolio is either going to take partnership, money, labor intensive. You got to figure out how much pain or what's the path of least resistance for yourself. And as long as you figure those things out, the sky's the limit. Everything is achievable. Don't ever think that you can't achieve something because no one in your family has ever done it before. You have the ability to do whatever you want to do, but you have to decide what that is. And every decision you make has a price. has a consequence. There's some sacrificing that you're going to have to do as it relate in order to get to that destination. This destination is not going to fall into your lap. You're going to actually have to do something in order to get to where you want to be. No one else is going to do it for you. Santa Claus only comes once a year, and that's for those who have a Santa Claus. Those who don't have a Santa Claus, you got to dig deep into your own pocket and be your own Santa Claus, something along those lines. But every rainbow has a destination. And I have a funny feeling that all of us here desire the very same destination. And that destination is, number one, having a greater appreciation for the wealth accumulated engine that we see, having an understanding for knowing that we can get there and that nothing is amiss. The secrets of finance, and I'll be the first one to tell you, I studied finance in order to understand the secret of it. I'm engaged in business because I thought those were the shortest pathways. Right? But as I get older now, and I'm seeing things so much differently than I did when I was younger, what I'm seeing now is having a clear idea of understanding what that portfolio is supposed to look like, understanding how to move the needle in the passive space in order to rebalance out the portfolio, understanding a little bit more about compounding, not necessarily compounding monies, but also scalability, right? So in the business space that I'm in, when we're accumulating businesses and everything else like that, even to scale those businesses, we still need capital in order to scale, right? So that comes with its own setup of complexity, because now you're dealing with people, systems. For me, I try to stay out of operations. So even that component, that's what I have partners for. The areas that I don't like, I have partners to play in that space. My partners love operations. By all means, have it. Just talk to me about the balance sheets, profit and loss, and the cash flow statements, and let's see how to capitalize the business in order to scale. Those are the areas that I excel in. But I don't want to spend one day in operations. Why? Operations is too time consuming, and it will take away the timing from everything else. So investing for me is not playing in operations at all. And it doesn't matter whether it's in the 50% real estate space, whether it's in that 30% buying of business space. So that's why I'm having so much fun in this passive space, because now it's all controlled by me. There's no buffer between the amount of capital that can be made versus the capital that can't. And if I'm not making sufficient, there again, and you need to subsidize your income with anything else, I mean, selling our insurance isn't a bad idea. And when you talk to Orlando about selling insurance, realize that it's not the olden days of selling insurance whereby you hustle for a client. They have a whole built up marketing machine in that space. So that can be your side hustle to bring in a couple of $100 a day if it's done correctly. So there again, I'm going to end the session right here tonight and just share that everyone have an amazing 36-month plan for retirement. I think it's all achievable by everybody here. And I can't wait to see you guys achieve your goals, and then also to play this video back to you 36 months from now to see where you started. And then, so this now becomes your accountability video. Yeah, even for myself, right? It now becomes accountable because now I'm not only accounting for my vision and my dreams, but you guys got to account for yours as well too. So I'm loving every minute of this. So there again, I'm going to open up all mics. If anyone has anything to share or add, or in closing, this would be the time.
I'd just like to say one thing, Devaughn.
Go ahead, John.
everybody should have some incremental goals that are personal to them. Because you could make a lot of money today, less money tomorrow. I mean, certainly I was making the best money in my life when my career ended and I got injured. But I would say that no matter what you're doing, set personal goals for yourself and build wealth. Don't just build income, build it all. And, you know, whether it's real estate, stocks, savings, bonds, precious metals, hopefully it's diversified across many venues. But what I would say to you is have personal goals where you fund to do and take the money to put it into vehicles, whether it's stock accounts, whether it's real estate, whether it's other investments, mutual funds, and meet those personal goals as you get along and go along. You can work and be making great income like Orlando, but on the side, have a place to put that income so it's also working while you're working.
Sounds good to me. Anybody else? All right.
Have a good night.
Well, I'm going to end it there. Guys, enjoy.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Anytime.
Good night.
Good night.